A good fight for couples always ends with improved understanding. A bad fight, like a weak scene in a movie, never gets to the point or to an emotional place where the two antagonist lovers touch each other's hearts. It just drags on until they walk away in complete despair, then come back later for another round. The one thing that always leads to bad fights is a deeper feeling of shame that never gets expressed. Each lover is extremely vulnerable and feels threatened by the other, and they are sucked into a bottomless pit of insults, accusations, and worst of all, picking apart each other's behavior, like Franki and Aaron.
You think I don't know you were faking it?
Right, you always know everything. There isn't a fucking thing in the world you don't know.
I know goddamn well you fake an orgasm. It's what you do best, isn't it? Get 'em all hot and bothered, then hightail it out of town while your ass is still there in the sheets.
You know, you missed your calling. You should have been a court psychiatrist who analyzes criminal behavior and makes sentencing recommendations. Must be pretty hard for you, always analyzing and judging everybody.
You've always been a no-brainer. You get in there, do your little seductive thing, then bug out like a coward. Not just with sex, but everything else. The only time you ever stick around is after you've fortified yourself with half a dozen scotches.
That's why you married me, isn't it? To prove you could upgrade the poor little lush, show her a better life. You really get off on it, playing Professor Higgins to my Eliza Doolittle.
Higgins had a lot more to work with.
As always, the man's absolutely right. Eliza was smart enough not to marry a constipated asshole like Higgins. A lot smarter than me.
What you really mean is Higgins knew better than to get in any deeper with her.
You constipated shit. What I really mean is that I should never have gotten any deeper with you and your obsessive need to upgrade every woman you get emotionally involved with because you see them as your deficient mother.
Now here's what a good fight looks like between these two lovers.
I'm not saying you actually were, but it felt like you were faking it, and something snapped inside me. I had to get the hell away from you. It was unbearable.
I guess if you stayed, you'd have strangled me.
Oh no, never that. I had to get away because I couldn't bear the feeling of not being wanted. Like it didn't matter if it was me or somebody else inside you.
You know, when you first wanted to have sex, I got this feeling you just had to have it, and it didn't matter much whether it was with me or somebody else.
No, with you it's never just for the sex. I never told you this, but I always watch you doing stuff around the apartment. Like when you sit at the dining table grading your kids' workbooks, preparing the next day's lesson. I sneak looks at you from the sofa as you work the papers. Anastasia purring on your lap. In those moments, my heart swells up. I feel this hunger for you. It scares the hell out of me.
If you could just take it slower when we make love, not move so fast, then maybe I could really be there, make you feel welcome. It's always been so hard for me to be there with anyone.
For all of us, speaking shame feels like the worst thing to do when we're feeling it. It can only be spoken to people who've earned the right to hear it. People who love us despite our weaknesses. There aren't many people in the world we can do this with. We're lucky if we can just find one or two of them.